Hello, everyone. Tonight, we are floating down a sleepy river in Old Siam, under a sky so soft it feels like silk brushing your eyelids. The air is thick with the scent of night-blooming jasmine and something faintly sweet, mangoes ripening on the branch maybe, or sticky rice cooling behind open shutters. Crickets hum like they've been rehearsing all day, and somewhere upstream, a bamboo wind chime taps out a lazy rhythm. The village is already half asleep, but you're still wide-eyed, following a path barely visible in the moonlight. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you really like what I do here. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is. I love seeing our little nighttime map light up. Now turn off the lights, maybe turn on the fan for some soft background music, and let's enjoy our evening ride together. You shuffle along a packed dirt path, shoes in your hand, the river gurgling beside you like it's telling an old joke it never gets tired of. Every now and then, a lotus petal drifts by, no two the same. Some white like polished bone, others pink and curled like a sleeping ear. You let your fingers trail the water's surface, just enough to feel the coolness sink into your skin without making a splash. There's a little lantern bobbing ahead, tied to a post that marks the edge of a wooden dock. Its flame isn't steady. It flickers in the breeze like it's deciding whether to stay or slip into the sky. The air is thick with potential, the way it gets just before a story starts. Across the river, the houses are low and wide, built on stilts, their windows open to let in the night. You hear a baby cry once and a dog sigh twice. Otherwise, it's all hush. The kind of hush that holds 100 years of secrets in its arms and tells them only to the moon. You pause near the dock and look up. That moon, big as a brass gong, pale as rice milk, sits low tonight, caught in the arms of a banyan tree whose roots dangle like forgotten promises. If you stare long enough, you could swear it's moving. Not across the sky, but closer, watching, listening, as if it knows something you don't. You sit down right there on the edge of the dock, feet dangling over the water, and let your body settle into the moment. A barge glides past slowly, so slowly you're not sure it's moving at all. And the man steering it doesn't look at you, just whistles something breathy and strange. The sound slips across the water like a ribbon of mist. You find yourself thinking of stories, not ones you read, but ones that feel like they've been waiting inside you, about girls who speak to animals and boys who can ride dreams like horses, about hidden kingdoms and lotus flowers that bloom under moonlight, not sunlight. You wonder if any of them are true. Then again, here in this place, the line between true and not true is so faint you could lose it with one blink. A gust of warm wind rustles the reeds behind you. You turn, half expecting someone to be there, someone real, someone ancient, but it's just the breeze. Still, you swear the dock creaked like it was bearing a second weight. Somewhere a drum taps once, ceremonial maybe, or just a boy playing by candlelight. And the water? It keeps talking. You close your eyes and let the river's voice sink into you. It speaks in bubbles and eddies, in the hush of lotus leaves brushing one another like sisters sharing a secret. The language isn't one you know, but you understand it anyway. The village you passed is slipping further behind you now, not in distance, but in time. You feel it, the candles going out, the beds filling with breathing, the geckos blinking from the walls. It's like the whole place exhales as you drift deeper into the strange in-between. And there, just there, you see it. A glimmer, a memory, a girl. Not just any girl. You know her by the way she holds her brush, crooked like a bird's foot, careful like it might fly off if she lets go too soon. Her hair is short, black, and slightly mussed, as if she's always leaning too close to her work. She wears a soft white blouse, navy skirt, and a red scarf that flutters like a quiet answer. She's not painting on paper. No, her canvas is the sky. Not even the sky, but the air between moments. And every time her brush swirls, something shifts. A wisp of mist twists into a fox. A droplet from the river hangs in the air just long enough to become a star. She doesn't look at you, but you know she sees you. And beside her? He's not here yet. Not now. But you feel the absence, the space where someone used to be. Someone tall, someone quiet. Someone with long black hair streaked in silver and clothes the color of smoke and shadow. The dock sighs. The lantern dims. You're not afraid, just waiting, like the moon. And it's only the beginning. You're still there on the dock, feet swaying just above the water, when you hear it. The soft drag of footsteps in the dew-damp grass. Not hurried, not hesitant, just steady, like someone walking through a dream they visited before. You don't need to turn. You know who it is. The air changes before he appears. He steps into view with the hush of silk on silk, long black hair streaked with silver, catching moonlight like silver threads pulled from a loom. He wears a gray haori, loose and weathered, with wide sleeves that drift like banners in the wind. His black trousers gather neatly at the ankles, revealing quiet, bare footsteps. There's something in his hands. Not a brush, not a lantern, but nothing empty either. It's as if he's always carrying the memory of something delicate, and somehow, that's heavier than anything real. He stands beside the short-haired girl now, the one with the crooked brush and the quiet posture of someone who listens before she paints. Her red scarf flutters, brushing against his sleeve like a forgotten thread reattaching itself. You don't hear them speak. They never do. Not with words. Instead, the girl reaches out with her crooked brush and dips it not into ink, but into shadow. The shadow between two reeds, the curve of darkness beneath a fallen petal. She lifts the brush and makes a single stroke across the air. And just like that, the clouds above shift. A koi fish appears, red and white, its tail long and elegant as a dancer's scarf, gliding through the stars like they're water. The man lifts one hand, not to guide it, but to still it, and the fish freezes mid-air like a paper lantern caught in a held breath. They move like this together. She creates, he preserves. She stirs, he settles. There's a balance between them, like wind and water. You feel it, and it makes you ache a little. They aren't painting clouds, not really. They're painting the spaces between, what's unsaid, what's almost lost. They borrow the sky the way some people borrow time, gently, reverently, without presumption. And you just sit and watch, because what else can you do? The river slows around you, like even it doesn't want to disturb the moment. The air gets cooler, not cold, just aware. A fox darts along the opposite bank, chasing shadows that only it can see, And overhead, the moon has turned a faint gold, like it's glowing from the inside out. You start to notice other things too, little things. A moth landing on the girl's shoulder and staying there like it knows her. The faint scent of tamarind in the air, sweet and sour. The way the man occasionally tilts his head like he's listening to music no one else hears. You wonder how they met, if they met. Maybe they've always just been. Not born, not summoned, just appearing when the sky needs tending. Maybe Old Siam has always had a pair of silent artists hiding just beneath the clouds, stitching stories into dusk. The koi drifts farther now, followed by another shape, a lantern this time, pale glue, barely there, as if it's made of breath. The girl paints it slowly, almost cautiously, her strokes smaller than before, and the man watches her, hands still. Something's different. You don't know what it is until the wind shifts again. He's fading. Not entirely, not all at once, but enough that you notice. His sleeves don't catch the air the same way. His hair, that black and silver river, doesn't reflect quite as much light. And the space beside the girl, it's growing. But she doesn't stop. Her brush moves as if it's heavier now, like it remembers everything he ever helped her carry. But she doesn't stop. And that, more than anything, tells you she knows. She knew he would go. Maybe not when or how, but she knew. You stand now, as if rising will bring you closer. But the dock is quiet beneath your feet, and the girl doesn't look your way. She's painting a fox now, curled in sleep, its tail a soft question mark against the air. It drifts beside the lantern in the koi, forming a little constellation of goodbye. And the man? He's watching her. Still there, but not quite here. Like the memory of laughter on an empty porch. Like a scarf left on a hook long after the cold has gone. You blink. He's gone. Not vanished, just absent. And the clouds go on blooming anyway. The girl lowers her brush, lets it fall to her side. She doesn't cry. You don't either. It doesn't feel like a loss, not exactly, just a change in weather, a soft drift from presence to memory. You look up. The koi swims through stars, the lantern glows softly, rising. The fox sleeps, curled between them. And the sky holds it all, not loudly, not proudly, but the way a mother might hold a lullaby. Gently, just enough. The girl turns to leave, scarf trailing behind her like a signature. She doesn't take her brush. She doesn't need to. You step back from the dock, and the river gurgles in agreement. You don't know where she's going. But you know this. The sky is different now. Not broken, not empty, just painted. And somewhere out there, between rooftops and clouds, the silent man still lingers. Not seen, but felt. You smile. You don't know why, but it feels like the right thing to do. The rooftops of Old Siam blur beneath your steps now. You wander without urgency, weaving between painted shadows and the hush of wind chimes that tinkle without breeze. The streets are old, cobbled with memories instead of stone, and somewhere high above, the sky still hums with brushstrokes. You're not following anyone. You're not searching either. You're just walking, like maybe the path itself is carrying you. The girl with the short black hair and the red scarf, she's up there again. Not on rooftops, not on stages, but somewhere in the space between balconies and sky, perched on a narrow beam outside a tea house window, brush tucked behind her ear. Her white blouse has smudges of ink on the cuffs now, her navy skirt flecked with gold dust. She doesn't notice you. She's too busy balancing. Not just physically, though, yeah, she's one loose toe away from tipping into the Lotus Canal below, but emotionally too. You can see it in her face, in the way her hand hovers before every stroke, like she's waiting for the silence to approve. And then, with a small sigh, soft, barely enough to bend a petal, she paints. This time, it's not koi or lanterns or foxes. It's cranes. A pair of them, white with tips of midnight blue, long necks curved like calligraphy. They rise slowly, their wings catching invisible currents, and the sky responds in ripples. Buildings fade into suggestion, windows soften into watercolor. Even the moon dims a little, like it knows to step back. She paints the second crane more slowly, more carefully. It's not just a shape. It's a person. It's memory disguised as flight. You feel it in your chest, this slow ache, a tether between sky and heart. Not painful exactly, just tender. Down below, people go about their lives without looking up. A mother sweeping her stoop, two boys chasing a ribbon of wind, a shopkeeper folding paper fish for a window display. None of them see the cranes, but they feel better, softer, as if the weight they've carried all day has shifted just a little to the side. She doesn't need their recognition. That's not why she paints. And then it starts to rain. Not hard, not cold, just a silver mist that curls like smoke and beads on the rooftops like glass buttons. The cranes shimmer. The girl doesn't flinch. Her brush continues dragging color through the mist, her red scarf now darkened with damp. You're caught in it too. You blink up, let the droplets slide down your face like blessings, and you realize something. This is her grief, this soft rain. This is how she says goodbye. But it doesn't hurt the sky. It heals it. The cranes turn mid-flight and glide low above the rooftops. Their wings leave trails of pale gold. Just a whisper of it. Not enough to distract, just enough to remember. Then they vanish, slipping behind the curtain of mist like actors bowing behind smoke. She sits for a long time after that. You do too, neither of you moving. The city exhales beneath you. And then, just as the first sunlight edges the clouds, yes, somehow night has passed already, she gathers her things. The crooked brush, a strip of indigo cloth, and a single lotus petal, fresh, despite the rain. She tucks the brush behind her ear, wraps the cloth around the petal, and places it gently inside her coat. It's not a ritual, it's a habit, a quiet preservation. And without a glance behind her, she slips through the window and disappears into the woodwork of the city. But the cranes remain. Not visibly, not even conceptually, just energetically. You feel them in the stillness after footsteps, in the hush that comes between bells, in the slight upturn of mouths that were frowning just moments before. You take another step, and suddenly the rooftops don't feel quite so far away. Down the alley, you pass a market stall closed for the season. Its painted canopy has long since faded, but now, in the fresh light, you see a line of feathers tucked beneath the edge. White and blue, neatly placed, like a signature. You smile. The girl with the short black hair and red scarf isn't just painting anymore. She's leaving pieces behind. And maybe that's how all this works. You don't always get to speak your goodbyes. You don't always get to know when the final painting is finished. But if you're careful, if you're slow, You might see it. A shape in the mist, a stroke of light across a wall, a crane caught in the clouds at just the right angle. And when you do, you'll remember. Not everything, just enough. Because that's the gift she carries now. Not answers, not closure, but fragments. Golden, glimmering fragments that fall like feathers and settle quietly into the folds of your day. And honestly, that's more than enough. You don't remember falling asleep, but now you're somewhere else entirely. Not dreaming, not awake, just drifting. The lanterns are lower now, swaying gently like kelp in a tide pool of air. The clouds, once high above, now lie beneath your feet like cushions. And there she is again, the girl with the short black hair, red scarf fluttering like a whisper, her white blouse pressed neatly despite the wind, navy skirt brushing the tops of her knees as she walks barefoot across the sky. You follow. What else could you possibly do? Up here, the world is slow, thoughtful, as though it's paused just long enough for you to notice everything you've missed. The cracks in the moon, the way the stars rearrange themselves when no one's looking, the soft sigh of color whenever the girl dips her brush into an invisible well and paints another moment onto the fabric of the air. She paints a bridge this time. Not stone, not wood, something softer. Silk, maybe. Light. It stretches between two clouds, anchored only by trust. You hesitate before stepping on it, but she doesn't. She strolls across like it's just another back alley in Old Siam. You follow again. Halfway across, you see them. The koi. They're swimming beneath the bridge, not in water, but in the air itself, like the world has turned sideways. Each one glows faintly, scales shimmering in oranges and pinks, with little bursts of gold scattered along their fins like lantern light. They move in spirals, completely unbothered by gravity. The girl crouches down, her red scarf pooling like ink beside her. She dips her brush in again. Where does she keep finding color? And paints a single mark in midair. Just one. A koi turns, looks right at you, and grins. You didn't even know fish could grin, but there it is. This tiny, gleaming smile that seems to say, yeah, we see you. We've always seen you. Then they're gone again, swirling beneath the bridge like a moving memory. You reach the other side. The sky here is different. Less blue, more indigo, like dusk is pressing in but hasn't fully committed. There's a rooftop tea stall built into the cloud bank, with cushions that seem to float half a foot above the surface, and steam rising from cups that never spill. The girl sits cross-legged now, palms open in her lap like always, waiting. For you? You sit across from her, say nothing. You don't need to. The silence between you is full, whole. Like someone pressed pause on the world and filled the gap with every conversation that never needed to happen. She pours tea, not with ceremony, just care. The scent is floral, a little sweet. You don't ask what it is, you know somehow. It's the same tea the man used to drink, back when the sky was his canvas too. Ah yes, him. The man with long black hair streaked with silver, who wore the gray haori and the black trousers. The one who never spoke but always seemed to be listening. His hands shaped clouds like memory, and when he painted, the air would still. He's not here. But also, he is. His absence is like ink on rice paper, not the mark, but the space it leaves behind. The girl knows it too. You can see it in the way she brushes a stray hair behind her ear before lifting her gaze toward the empty sky. Then she paints again. This time she doesn't stop at cranes or koi. She paints a fox. It curls in the clouds beside the tea stall, its tail looping lazily like it's been waiting all along. Gold dust settles into the ridges of its fur. Its eyes blink slowly. Once, twice, and then it settles into sleep. A memory given shape. A presence disguised as rest. You sip your tea. Warm, fragrant, familiar. The girl, short black hair, red scarf still dancing at her neck, leans back and exhales. The brush in her hand loosens, and for the first time you notice how young her hands are. Not by age, by tenderness. Everything she's painted has been done with care, with patience, with softness, too often misunderstood as fragility. But here's the truth. This softness is strength. This brush is a blade. This quiet is louder than anything you've ever shouted into the wind. You look around. The koi still dance. The fox still dreams. And above the tea stall, drifting higher with every breath, a lantern flickers to life. Painted, yes, but real in every way that matters. It bears no name, no message, no destination. It's just rising. The girl watches it. You do too. And for a moment, just a moment, you wonder if you'll rise with it. But you stay. Because there's still more to see. More to feel. More to remember.
The sky shifts. You don't notice it at first, just a slow tilt, like your thoughts rolling gently from one side of the bed to the other. But then the clouds part beneath your feet, and what was once indigo becomes silver blue, touched with the first breath of morning. You're not falling, just floating. The girl with short black hair, still wearing her white blouse, navy skirt, and red scarf, stands now at the edge of what looks like a temple gate. Not a full building, but a threshold, half drawn in soft gold and pale pinks, resting in midair. The brush tucked behind her ear wobbles a little as she leans forward, and for a moment you think she might walk through it. But she doesn't. She steps aside. She wants you to go first. You hesitate. Of course you do. Who wouldn't? But then again, what's left to fear? You've walked on cloud bridges, drank tea with memories, watched koi spiral across the sky. Everything impossible has already happened. So you step forward. The moment your foot crosses the threshold, everything melts. Not like wax or fire, like mist. The gate disappears. The clouds dissolve into something quieter, like fog but warmer. Your ears ring faintly, as though the world has gone too still. And then there's music. Faint strings, maybe a bamboo flute. It's hard to tell. It feels like the sound your chest makes when you take a really deep breath. You see them again. Not just the girl and the fox and the koi, but all of them. The cranes, the lanterns, the umbrellas. The man with long black hair streaked with silver, his gray haori fluttering in a wind that's not quite real, standing just behind the girl like he never left. He's not watching you. He's watching her. And she doesn't look back. She's painting again. But not the sky. This time she paints something smaller, more fragile. A blossom. A single lotus blooming at the edge of an invisible pond where the reflections ripple even though there's no surface. Each petal is edged with shell gold, glowing faintly against the delicate vellum of the sky. When the breeze passes, it doesn't scatter the blossom, it carries it, like a blessing, toward the horizon. You follow it with your eyes, and you understand. You're not here to stay. None of this was about permanence. Not the koi, not the fox, not even the connection between the girl and the silent man. It was always about passing through, witnessing something delicate, and letting it go. The girl looks at you once more. She doesn't smile, but her scarf flutters in a way that feels like goodbye. And then she turns back to her work, her crooked brush dancing lightly across the air, carving dreams into dawn. The sky fades, not all at once, just gently, bit by bit. The koi become outlines. The fox becomes a curl of mist. The lantern rises past your sight, and for a moment you're not sure if you're watching it or becoming it. You're lighter now, not floating, drifting. Your hands unclench, your shoulders drop. Your breath slows until it's barely a whisper in your chest. The clouds beneath you thicken into the softest bed you've ever known, and you lower yourself into them like folding into a sigh. The air is cool, the silence full, and the last thing you hear, so faint it might only exist between heartbeats, is the sound of a brushstroke across an endless sky. The girl with short black hair, in her white blouse, navy skirt, and red scarf, keeps painting. The man with long black hair streaked with silver keeps watching. And you begin to forget where the sky ends and you begin. Because the story was never really about endings. It was about stillness, about memory, about how even in silence, we are never truly alone. So rest now. You've walked through skies, followed lanterns, sipped memory from a floating cup. You've done enough for one night. Let it all blur now. The edges, the names, the brushstrokes. Breathe in, let go. And if the moon above you tonight seems to smile just a little, know that someone, somewhere, is still painting. Just for you. Good night.